Okay, good evening, dear students. So, today our topic is measures of dispersion. Is the second important chapter of statistics. In the previous chapter, we have discussed about different measures of central tendency or average, right? And we noticed that the different values of the variables are not all equal, but some are less and some are more than the average, right? That is, the values are scattered about the average. That is, the values are scattered about the average. This scattering of the data about the average is known as the dispersion. That is the meaning of the dispersion. The scattering of the data about the average. That is, in the central position it will be the mean and all other data are scattered around it. Right? So, in this chapter we will study measures of dispersion. Okay? So, there are different types of measures of dispersion actually. So, what are the different types of measures of dispersion? Actually, measures of dispersions are classified into two different types mainly. One is the absolute measures, another is the relative measures. Okay? And absolute measures are classified into range, quartile deviation, mean deviation and standard deviation. There are four types. These are the all absolute measures. And relative measures are mainly coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of mean deviation and coefficient of variation. Okay, once again I repeat, actually measures of dispersion are classified into two types, absolute measures and relative measures. Absolute measures again classified into four types of measures. One is range, second quartile deviation, third mean deviation, fourth is standard deviation. And on the other hand, relative measures are range. In that case we have coefficient of range. Here we have absolute measure, we have quartile deviation. In relative measure we have coefficient of quartile deviation, and third one coefficient of mean deviation, and fourth one coefficient of variation. And coefficient of variation is a very important measure, very important relative measures. Okay, so now we'll see what is range, what are quartile deviation, mean deviation and what are standard deviation. Let's progress. So now we'll talk about range. What is range? This is the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value of a distribution. This is the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value of a distribution. So, what is your range? Range is maximum value minus minimum value. Very simple. You can very simply calculate the range. Suppose for example suppose there is a height of the students 120 to 129 centimeter, 130 to 139 centimeter, 140 to 149 centimeter and 150 to 159 centimeter, and the corresponding frequencies are given 10, 17, 23, 8, right? So now you have to find out the range of the following distribution. So you just check what is the highest class of the upper boundary. What is the highest class of the upper boundary? 159, right? You just see its class, but in case of boundary you have to mention it 159.5, right? And what is the lower boundary of the lowest class? So your lower class is 120 and boundary will be 119.5, because this is a discontinuous data. And you check the class boundaries are given by 0.5 subtracted from the lower limit and 0.5 should be added to the upper limit. So that gives you the boundary actually. So range is basically upper boundary of the highest class and the lower boundary of the lowest class. So it will give you the range, and that equal to 40 centimeter is the range. That is the range of values. So I hope this is clear from this example. So next we'll define or describe quartile deviation. What is quartile deviation? Quartile deviation is before we explain quartile deviation, you have to know what are the quartiles. What are the quartiles? So it's a short descriptions. I will give you short descriptions of the quartiles. You can get my quartile descriptions in my other videos, partition values. There is a video available in YouTube in my channel. So you can go through that, but I will describe here also. Actually what you are doing, suppose this is your data. This is your data. This is your whole data. So you are actually split the data into 4 equal parts. So you are going to split the data into 4 equal parts, or what you are doing, you are taking sub intervals. So this is 1, 2, 3. So look at that, there are 4 subsections or sub intervals. That means partitioned, your data is partitioned into 4 equal intervals. So these are called the quartiles. This is Q1. Okay, this is first quartile or lower quartile. This is Q2, second quartile or the median, because this Q2 divides the whole observation into 2 equal parts. This is Q3 or the third quartile or the upper quartile. Okay, so look at that. We can also explain in such a way that Q1, what is Q1? Q1 actually, you see below Q1 there are 25% data. 25% data, and above Q1 there are 75% data. Clear? Because this is divided into 4 equal parts, and Q2, below Q2 there are 50% data, and above Q1 Q2 there are 50% data. So Q2 divides the whole observation into 2 equal parts. That is why Q2 is called the median of the observations. And Q3, below Q3 there are 75% data, and above Q1 Q3 there are 25% data. So Q3 is called the third or upper quartile. Got it? I hope this explanation is clear to you. So now how will you calculate Q1, Q2, Q3? It's very simple. Just like you have calculated the median in your central tendency chapter. Just like that. It's a similar way you will calculate Q1, Q2, Q3. So for simple frequency distribution, you will calculate Qi, where I is 1, 2, 3, because you have I equal to 1 for Q1, I equal to 2 for Q2 or median, I equal to 3 for Q3 or yes, Q3 or upper quartile. So value of the I into n plus 1 by 4th item, where n is the number of observations, total number of observations. So this gives you the Qi. That means if you want Q1, you have to substitute I equal to 1, and that will give you the Q1. If you want to calculate Q2, you already know that n plus 1 by 2th item, that is by substituting I equal to 2, and Q3, that is by substituting I equal to 3, you can calculate Q3. Okay. And for grouped frequency distribution, yes, the value of the I n by 4th item, I is 1, 2, 3 once again. So for Q1, you will have to substitute I n by 1 n by 4, that is n by 4th item. So it will give you L is the, you know that how to calculate median, just like that. For Q2, I equal to 2, Q3, I equal to 3. So where L is the lower boundary of the quartile class, n is the total frequency, Fc is the cumulative frequency preceding the quartile class, Fm is the frequency of the quartile class, and I is the width of the quartile class. So this is how you can calculate Q1, Q2, Q3. Just like you have calculated in your measures of central tendency chapter median. One of the measures of central tendency is median. So this is how you will calculate quartiles. So that is why I was talking about quartile deviation. What is quartile deviation? It's just a simple formula, that is Q3 minus Q1 by 2. That gives you the quartile deviation, Q3 minus Q1 by 2. It's very simple. You have to calculate Q3 from the table, you have to calculate Q1 from the table, and just subtract it and divide it by 2. That will give you the quartile deviation. How much deviation in quartile? This is also a very important measures of tendency, dispersion, measures of dispersion. Okay. So next we'll calculate, next we'll show you mean deviation. It's the third measures of central dispersion. This is another measures of dispersion, mean deviation. So what is mean deviation? Mean deviation is the arithmetic mean of the absolute deviations of all the observations from their mean or median or any other specified value. So that is the mean deviation. Okay. So mean deviation is the arithmetic mean of the absolute deviations of all the observations from their mean or median. It can be your mean or median or any other specified value. So let's see how will you calculate. For unweighted data, that is where there is no frequencies involved, it's a simple series, x1, x2, xn, n simple values. In that case, what is your mean deviation? Mean deviation is simply summation of modulus of xi minus a, the sum of the values of this modulus values divided by n, where capital A is mean or median or any other specified value, right? So where capital A is the mean or median or any other specified value, that will be specified in your problem or example, right? This is called your mean deviation, about mean deviation for simple series or unweighted data. For weighted data, if it is a weighted, that means frequencies are involved. That is, you have a simple series x1, x2, xn and the corresponding frequencies f1, f2, f3, fn. Then how will you calculate the mean deviation? Mean deviation is simply the product of the absolute values with frequencies, the sum of those values, divided by capital N. What is capital N? Capital N is nothing but the sum of the frequencies. Clear? Okay. So this is how you will calculate the mean deviation for simple series and for frequency distribution or for a weighted data, right? Let's have some examples on that. So first example is that find the mean deviation of the following data about the median. You see here it is mentioned that about the median. If nothing is mentioned in the question, you have to find out the mean deviation about the mean. Please remember, nothing is mentioned in the question, you have to find out the just it is said that mean deviation, find the mean deviation. Then in that case you have to find out the mean deviation about the mean only, not about the median. Got it? That is for mean deviation for mean only, and here in this case it is mentioned that median. So let us calculate the median first of this distribution. So how will you calculate the median? How will you calculate the median? You just calculate the median by arranging the numbers in ascending order, right? Arranging the numbers in ascending order. So you arrange the numbers in ascending order, right? This is not arranged, but you have to arrange the data in ascending order and you will get the median. You can calculate that. Okay, this is not in arranged, but you have to arrange. Like, what is your first number? First number is 26, next one is 21, 9, Next is 39, right? Next is 46. 46. Next is 59. 59. 65, right? 73. 79 and 85. So how many data you have? You see, you have 9 data, right? Number of data is 9, number of values is 9. So what is the median? Median is the n plus n 1 by 2th item. So 9 plus 1 by 2, that is the 5th item. So what is your 5th item? 1 2 3 4 5. So you see 5th item is 59, so your median is 59. Now these are your x values. Look at that, these are your x values, and this is your, you have to calculate the modulus of x minus 59. So you 26 minus 59, 29 minus 59, 39 minus 59, 46 minus 59. Okay, and this way you have to calculate and take the sum of this, and the sum is 162. Got it? So this is your sum. And lastly, how will you calculate the mean deviation about the median? That is 1 by n, summation of 1 by n mod of xi minus 90. This sum by how many? 9. So that will give you the mean deviation about the median. Okay, that will give you the mean deviation about the median, 18. So this is how you will calculate the mean deviation. Now for example, you have a class interval, suppose 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and so on, and you have a few frequencies. These are the class interval, right? And this is the frequency. Suppose your frequencies are given by 3, 10, 11. Now in this case, how will you calculate the, and so on, there are all other values also. Now in this case, how will you calculate the mean deviation? That may be the question. So in this case, you have to find out the mid values. You know how to calculate the mid values, right? So in this case, it is not mentioned about median, so you have to calculate the about mean. In this case, another table is required. You have to calculate the mean. That means your x in this case is mid values, right? X is the mid values. In that case way, you can calculate the mean deviation. Okay, so next we move to the most important measures of dispersion, that is standard deviation. Okay, this is your standard deviation now. So what is standard deviation? Standard deviation is defined as the positive square root of the arithmetic mean of the squares of the deviation of all the observations from their arithmetic mean. What does it mean? So you look at that, positive square root, number 1, of the arithmetic mean of the squares of the deviation of all the observations from their arithmetic mean. So you look at that, you calculate the deviations about the mean, arithmetic mean. Xi minus x bar is the deviation. It measures the deviation about the arithmetic mean. And square, take the squares of the deviations, take the sum and divide it by the number of observations. So that will give you the arithmetic mean of the squares of the deviation of all the observations from their arithmetic mean. Clear? And finally take the positive square root. Okay, and for unweighted data, this is for, so this is the standard deviation, and standard deviation is denoted by sigma. Okay, so standard deviation is denoted by sigma. Sigma is the square root of arithmetic mean of the squares of the deviation of all the observations from their arithmetic mean. So 1 by n summation I equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar square. Clear? Okay, for weighted data, how will you calculate? That means only thing is that the frequencies are involved, that is xi, if the x1, x2, x3 and so on, these are the values and their corresponding frequencies are f1, f2, f3 and so on, etc. So if these frequencies are there, then that is called a weighted data or the frequency distribution. So in that case your formula is 1 by capital N, and you know that what is your capital N? Capital N is nothing but your summation of fi, summation of fi, sum of the frequencies, and there is a product of fi into xi minus x bar whole square, not fi square, only the square of the deviations of the values from the arithmetic mean. That gives you the standard deviation for the weighted data. So this is how you will calculate the data for standard deviation for unweighted data, and this is for weighted data. Clear? Now there is this formula, maybe sometimes it is complicated. There is some simple formula, working formula for standard deviation. You can simplify this result into this form. For simple series, this is how you will calculate. It's a very simple form. It actually comes from this result. This result, if you expand this result, you will get this one, this simple formula. And for frequency distribution, this is the result. Right? So this is for simple series, this is for frequency distribution. For simple series, summation x square by n into minus summation x by n, that is the mean. This is the mean square. And for frequency distribution, summation fx square by capital N minus summation fx by capital N whole square. Okay, so now we'll see some examples on standard deviation, how to calculate in problems. So this is the first one, is a very simple problem. Find the standard deviation from the following record or number of car accidents. So it's the car accident data. Number of accidents 1, and it is given that these are the x values 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and number of days, that is the frequencies 2, 3, 3, 1. It's a very simple data. So I'm starting with a very simple example. So this is your x values. Next table is, next column is f. Now you look at the formula, yeah, fx square and fx. So these are the required in the table. So first calculate fx, right? Next you calculate fx square, fx into x. So it's very simple. So now take the sum of this, n is equal to 10, sum of fx is, summation fx is 31, and summation fx square is 123, right? So that is equal to putting into the formula, working formula. I am putting into the working formula, right? So it will give you, after calculation, positive square root sigma is given by 1.64. So this is a very simple form, because you have a x values and you have f values. So maybe sometimes in a same table you have to calculate the mean and the standard deviation. So very simple, you can calculate in the same table the mean as well as the standard deviation, right? Next example, yeah, this is little bit complicated one, because the values are quite large, because if you square it will be more complicated. So find the standard deviation for the following table. X values are, look at the x values, and f values are given, x and the frequency. So your two columns, first two columns are x and f. Now look at that, your x values are equally spaced, right? What is the meaning of equally spaced? You look at that, the next value, the differences of the values are 10. You look at that, you have a spacing of 10. 10 is the spacing, or scale is 10. Okay, so we can take advantage of the change of scale and change of origin. That will reduce your calculation. That is called step deviation. Already we have applied in arithmetic mean calculation. Just we saw in our measures of central tendency chapter, right? So what is that? That is actually a transformation, x minus c by d. What is c? C is the change in origin, right? What is c? C is the change in origin. Let me write change in origin. Okay, and what is d? What is d? D is nothing but your change in scale. That is change in scale. That is change in scale. So change in origin, change in scale. So this is the transformation we will use here. So what is change in origin here? If you have it is a even data. So in the middle there are two values, 30 and 40. You can take any one of them, 30 or 40. So I took it as 40, x minus 40. And what is the scale? Scale is the spacing, that is h equal to 10. So x minus 40 by 10, that will give you can calculate, substitute x. So yeah, this will be minus 3, minus 2, next one minus 1, next one 0, 50 minus 40 by 10 1, 60 minus 40 by 10, that is 20 by 10 equal to 2, right? Next calculate fy. Fy is minus 27, minus 36, minus 25, 0, 14, 14, and that will give you minus 60. And what is your fy square? F into fy into y. So you don't need a calculator for this. You can easily calculate by yourself only without a calculator, right? Because 27 into 33, 81, 36 into 2, 72, and this is positive, 25 into 1, 25, 0, 14, 28, right? And take the sum. Just calculate the sum. Minus 60 and 220. So your summation fy is minus 60 and summation fy square is 220. Now we'll use the working formula. So we'll substitute summation fy square by n, summation fy by n whole square, but one observation, that is I. I means here I am using I as a scale here. This is your D actually, or you can take I. Here this is your D, change of scale. So there is a theorem, important theorem. Standard deviation depends on the scale but does not depend on the change of origin. But it depends on the scale. Point to be noted for the students. Dear students, please note the point that standard deviation depends on the change of scale, but it doesn't depend on the change in origin. So that is why there is a multiplication with change of scale, because you have introduced a new variable y. Your old variable was x and you have used a new variable y. That is why there is a change of scale, and standard deviation depends on the change of scale, not on the origin. So that is why there is a multiplication with I, and your I is 10 here, because look at that, your scale is 10. Okay, so finally after calculating the square root, you have to multiply this number with 10, and that will give you the final answer. So I hope this calculation is clear to you. Okay, next we'll talk about group frequency distribution. Suppose you have a problem like this. This is not your group frequency, it's a simple frequency distribution, but this is your group frequency distribution. 0 to 9, class intervals are given, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 49. Now the question is, how will you calculate the standard deviation in this case? And the frequencies are given. So let's see in the table. Just I told you previously that in case of mean deviation you have to calculate the mean values. In this case also you have to calculate the mean values. So 0 plus 9 by 2 4.5, 10 plus 19 by 2 14.5, 20 plus 29 by 2 24.5, so on. These are the mean values, right? That is also required for mean calculation, right? For median also, mean deviation also. So in this case also we have used the change of origin and change of scale, right? In this case you have a even data, so you can take any one of them in the middle as the origin. So I took it as 24.5 as the change in origin, and the scale is 10. Look at that, the spacing is 10 or the scale is 10. So in the similar way you can calculate fy, y, fy square, and don't forget to return the value. That is, you have introduced a new variable sigma y, so it is your this one. Sorry, I made a mistake here. It should be your x and this is your y into that scale. So look at that, sigma y you can calculate simply by using the working formula, but what is your sigma x? Sigma x is this multiplied with that scale or change in scale. That is important because standard deviation depends on the change in scale. So that is how you will calculate the most important measures of dispersion, that is the standard deviation. Clear? Okay. Now I will talk about the last topic of my section today. That is this is the relative measure, actually coefficient of variation. How will you calculate the coefficient of variation? Very simple. Standard deviation by mean into 100. Very simple formula. Now where it is required? It is required where you are calculating the variations. Suppose you want to calculate the variations of two batsmen A and B. You want to calculate the variations of Sachin Tendulkar and Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Their innings, their data is given, scores is given. So in that case you need CV. Or in the share market, two types of shares are there. So whose prices are less or whose prices are more. In that case you want to check the variations. In those cases you can calculate the coefficients of variations. So this is called the relative measures of dispersion. Okay. So I hope today's video is helpful to you, and this is our topic today. I have talked about all the types of measures of dispersion. So I hope the concept is clear to you. Now you can solve your problems in this case. Okay. Thank you.